The sea remembers every promise and every betrayal. In the quiet coastal village of Anuna, where the waves whisper ancient secrets to the shore, one man's heart will defy the laws of the deep. Obinna, a fisherman's son, never believed in the legends of the sea until he met her. Mmirinma, a daughter of the ocean, bound by beauty, danger, and a golden comb that holds her very soul. But love is never free, and the sea does not forgive. This is their story of fate, sacrifice, and a bond strong enough to challenge the tide itself. The waves of Badagry's coast glistened beneath the full moon, their silver crests kissing the shore in rhythm with the night's breath. Fishermen had long returned, their boats tied to wooden posts, yet one young man remained by the water. Obinna sat on the sand, staring into the endless blue, his mind tangled with worries of a failing catch and debts waiting at home. He had heard the old stories of spirits that roamed the sea at night, but his heart clung more to hope than to fear. Then it came, a voice. Soft, melodic, almost too beautiful for human ears. It rose above the crashing waves, threading through the wind like silk. Obinna's heart skipped. He turned sharply, eyes wide. There, sitting on a smooth rock near the water's edge, was a figure. A woman, with hair that glimmered like wet ebony and eyes that caught the moonlight like twin stars. Her song froze him where he sat, his chest rising and falling as though he had been captured in an unseen net. Who are you?" he managed to whisper, his voice trembling. She stopped singing and smiled, though her smile held secrets too deep for words. "You should not be here, fisherman," she said softly, her accent laced with the rhythm of waves. Obinna blinked, unsure if he had gone mad. "I could say the same of you." Before he could move closer, a sudden violent wave crashed between them, and when the spray settled, she was gone. Only the echo of her laughter lingered in the night air. Obinna's breath quickened, his mind torn between fear and desire. Who was she? Or more hauntingly, what was she? And as he rose to leave, he realized with a shiver, her footprints glistened on the wet sand, but only half of each print was human. Obinna could not sleep that night. Each time he closed his eyes, the melody returned, soft, haunting, and impossibly sweet. He remembered the footprints on the sand, each one ending in a sharp, fin-like curve. The elders had warned of Mommy Water, spirits of the sea who lured men to their doom. But there had been no malice in her voice, only longing. By dawn, his resolve was set. He would return. And so, when the sun sank again, painting the sky in red and gold, Obinna slipped from his hut and walked back to the shore. The sea was calm, almost too calm, as though it awaited him. He stood still, listening, his heart hammering. Then, the song came again. Faint at first, then rising, wrapping around him like a lover's arms. She was there, seated on the same rock as before, combing her long hair with a golden comb that shimmered even in the fading light. Her eyes met his, and for a moment, time itself seemed to stop. "You returned," she said, her voice both surprised and pleased. "I had to," Obinna answered, stepping closer despite the warning bells in his mind. "Tell me your name." She hesitated, then whispered, "Mmirinma." The name flowed like water from her lips. Before he could speak again, thunder rolled in the distance. The waves grew restless, slapping against the shore. She rose quickly, fear flashing across her face. "You must leave now," she urged, her voice urgent. "They must not find me with you." Obinna's chest tightened. Who are they? But Mmirinma didn't answer. She dove into the waves, vanishing beneath the foam. Obinna stumbled forward, desperate, when suddenly, a shimmering golden comb lay in the sand where she had been sitting. He picked it up, heart racing, knowing he had just broken a boundary between two worlds. And behind him, in the shadows, unseen eyes watched with silent fury. Obinna hid the golden comb beneath his sleeping mat, unable to shake the feeling that it pulsed faintly in his hands, as if it carried a heartbeat of its own. All night, strange dreams haunted him, visions of deep waters, shining palaces beneath the sea, and a woman's voice calling his name. At dawn, his mother noticed the dark circles under his eyes. "Obinna, are you sick?" she asked, placing a rough hand on his forehead. He forced a smile. "Just tired, Mama. Nothing more." But she wasn't convinced. Her eyes narrowed when she saw the faint shimmer of sand on his wrapper. "You were by the sea again," she pressed. "How many times have I warned you? That place is not safe after nightfall." Obinna looked away. If she knew what he had seen, she would forbid him from ever going back. And yet, the pull was irresistible. That evening, as the sky turned indigo, he returned to the beach, the comb hidden in his pocket. Mmirinma appeared again, her eyes widening when she saw the comb in his hand. She gasped. "You kept it." "I couldn't leave it behind," Obinna confessed. It feels like a part of you." Her face hardened. "You don't understand. That comb binds me to you now. If the sea finds out, they will come for us both." "Then let them come," Obinna said, his voice trembling but firm. "I cannot stop thinking of you." She touched his hand, her skin cool as river stones. "Obinna, loving me will cost you more than you can imagine." A sudden gust of wind whipped around them, and from the waves, a shadow rose, tall, dark, and watching. Mmirinma froze, her eyes wide with terror. And then a voice, low and thunderous, echoed from the sea. "He has taken what does not belong to him." The sea roared louder, as if awakened from a furious slumber. Obinna staggered back, clutching the golden comb, while Mmirinma's grip on his arm tightened. Her face was pale, her eyes darting toward the towering shadow that loomed above the waves. "Run, Obinna!" she whispered urgently, her voice trembling. But Obinna stood frozen. The figure stepped forward, not fully human, not fully beast. Its body was cloaked in dripping seaweed, eyes glowing like embers beneath the surface. The air grew cold, the sand biting at Obinna's feet. "You dare steal from the sea?" the voice boomed. The ground seemed to shake with every word. "Return the comb, or your life will be claimed tonight." Obinna's chest heaved, but he held his ground. "I will not give it back," he shouted, surprising even himself. "She is not your prisoner." Mmirinma's voice broke, soft but urgent. "Please, don't anger him further. That is Obinna, the guardian of the deep. He will not show mercy." The shadow laughed, the sound like thunder on stone. "Human boy, you know nothing of what you hold. That comb is her soul. Without it, she cannot return to us. You have chained her to your world." Obinna glanced at Mmirinma, shock coursing through him. She avoided his gaze, tears glistening on her lashes. Before he could respond, the waves surged violently. Obinna was thrown to the ground, water filling his mouth and ears. He scrambled, clutching the comb, as Mmirinma screamed his name. The last thing he saw before darkness swallowed him was Mmirinma diving toward him, and Obinna reaching out with a hand of water. When Obinna woke, the comb was still in his hand, but Mmirinma was gone. Obinna woke on the damp sand, his chest burning as though the sea itself had tried to keep him. The golden comb was clenched so tightly in his fist that its edges had left marks on his palm. But the rock where Mmirinma had sat was empty, her laughter replaced by the restless hiss of waves. He staggered home, his clothes heavy with salt water, his mind heavy with fear. By morning, the whispers had already spread. "They say Obinna wanders the beach at night, talking to shadows," one villager murmured at the market. Another added, "His father died at sea, and now the sea wants him too. Mark my words, that boy is cursed." Even his mother noticed the change. "Obinna," she said, gripping his wrist, "something follows you. I see it in your eyes. Tell me what you've done." But Obinna only shook his head. How could he tell her that he had fallen in love with a woman who was not of this world? That the sea had warned him never to see her again, yet his heart burned for her still? That night, he returned to the shore with the comb hidden beneath his wrapper. The air was thick, the waves strangely calm. He whispered into the darkness. "Mmirinma, please, come back to me." For a long moment, nothing. Then, faintly, her voice answered, soft, trembling, and carried on the wind. "Obinna, why do you call me? Do you want me destroyed?" His breath caught. "I only want you," he said, stepping closer to the waves. There was silence, then the sound of a splash. Slowly, she rose from the sea, her hair plastered to her pale face, her eyes filled with sorrow. "You should not have called me." Before Obinna could reply, a shadow moved in the water behind her, and two glowing eyes opened. Something else had followed her from the deep. The glow behind Mmirinma grew brighter, two burning orbs cutting through the darkness. She turned sharply, panic flashing across her face. "Obinna, you must leave now," she cried, her voice quivering. But he stood firm, gripping the comb as though it was his last defense. From the water, a second figure emerged, not as massive as Obinna, but cloaked in shimmering scales, its face twisted with fury. Its voice sliced the air like a blade. "So this is the mortal who dares chain a daughter of the sea?" Mmirinma stepped between them, her arms outstretched. "Please, leave him. He doesn't understand our laws." The creature sneered. "Then let him learn. That comb he holds, it carries your essence. If he keeps it, you will wither. If he returns it, he dies." Obinna's breath caught. "What?" Mmirinma's eyes filled with tears. "It's true. The comb links our worlds. To you, it is treasure. To me, it is life. But the sea will not forgive you for taking it." Obinna's mind spun. To give it back meant surrendering her forever. To keep it meant slowly killing her. He clutched it tighter, the weight of his choice pressing down on him. "Choose," the creature hissed, the waves rising in anger. "Her life or yours." Suddenly, a voice shouted from the shore. "Obinna!" He spun to see his childhood friend, Chike, running toward him, lantern in hand. The sea creature growled, retreating with a promise. "Next time, mortal, there will be no warning." With a final splash, it vanished. Mmirinma gripped Obinna's hand, her touch cold as the tide. "You've put yourself in grave danger." Behind them, Chike's lantern light fell on the golden comb in Obinna's hand. His eyes widened. "Obinna, what have you done?" And the look on his face told Obinna that Chike knew far more than he had ever imagined. Chike grabbed Obinna's wrist before he could hide the comb, his eyes wide with fear. "Are you mad?" he hissed, dragging him back from the edge of the water. "Do you even know what you hold?" Obinna pulled away, his voice firm. "It's hers, Chike. I can't give it back." Chike glanced at Mmirinma, who lingered just beyond the foam, her face pale in the lantern glow. He lowered his voice, trembling. "My grandfather used to tell me stories about the daughters of the sea. Beautiful, dangerous. Their golden combs carry their very souls. To hold one is to hold their life. But it is also a curse. Men who tried never lived long enough to tell the tale." Obinna's jaw tightened. "I don't care about curses. I only care about her." Chike shook his head, exasperated. "Obinna, listen to me. The sea never forgives theft. If they spared you tonight, it's only because they want to watch you suffer. They'll come again. And next time, they won't leave without blood." Mmirinma's voice drifted over the waves, soft but filled with sorrow. "He speaks the truth. Already, my strength fades. Every hour you keep that comb, I weaken. And yet," her gaze met Obinna's, shimmering with longing, "I cannot ask you to return it. Because if you do, you'll never see me again." Obinna's heart pounded. To lose her now was unthinkable. But to keep her meant defying powers older than the earth itself. Chike's lantern flickered as the wind rose, and in the distance, a low rumble of thunder rolled over the horizon. He swallowed hard, eyes fixed on Obinna. "You have to decide. Keep her, and face death. Or let her go, and save yourself." Obinna's grip on the comb tightened until his knuckles turned white. And in that moment from the sea, a woman's laughter echoed, not Mmirinma's, but something darker, watching, waiting. The laughter lingered in the night air, low and mocking, carrying a chill that made Obinna's skin crawl. He turned sharply toward the waves, but there was nothing, only the restless sea and the whisper of the wind. Mmirinma's face had gone pale, her eyes darting nervously as though she knew the owner of that voice all too well. Chike raised his lantern higher, his voice unsteady. Who was that? Mmirinma's lips trembled. She finally whispered, "My sister." Obinna blinked. "You never told me you had a sister." Her gaze lowered, filled with shame. "There are many like me, Obinna. But she is not like me. Nneka chose the dark path, the one that feeds on human souls instead of loving them. She will not forgive me for breaking the laws of the deep. And now that you hold the comb, she will come for you. Not because she wants to save me, but because she wants you." The words sent a cold shiver down Obinna's spine. "Then let her try," he said, though his voice shook. "I won't let anyone take you from me." Mmirinma's eyes filled with tears as she reached for his hand. "You don't understand. She doesn't ask. She takes." Suddenly, a wave taller than any before slammed against the shore, drenching them. When the water receded, a figure stood in the surf, a woman as beautiful as Mmirinma, but with eyes like black fire and a smile that carried no warmth. "Well, well," she purred, her voice both sweet and venomous. "So this is the mortal who thinks he can keep what belongs to the sea." Mmirinma gripped Obinna's arm in terror. "Obinna, don't look into her eyes." But it was too late. He already had. And in that instant, he felt something coil around his heart like chains. Obinna's chest tightened as Nneka's gaze bore into him. Her beauty was overwhelming, darker, sharper than Mmirinma's gentle glow. Her presence wrapped around him like silk, and for a moment, the sound of the sea faded, replaced by the pounding of his own heart. "You hold her comb," Nneka said softly, stepping closer, the waves parting around her feet as though they bowed in reverence. "Do you know what that means, mortal? It means she belongs to you. But she will never love you the way I can." Her smile deepened, dangerous and tempting. Mmirinma pulled Obinna back, her voice trembling. "Sister, leave him. He has done nothing to you." Nneka's eyes flashed. "On the contrary, he has done everything. He has stolen what was ours." "Did you tell him, Mmirinma, that every mermaid who chooses a human dooms herself to fade away? That your strength is draining with every breath you take beside him?" Obinna's grip on the comb tightened. "If that's true, then I'll protect her, even if it costs me everything." Nneka laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Brave words. But love alone cannot save her." She leaned closer, her voice now a whisper meant only for him. "Give me the comb, Obinna, and I will give you a life without fear, a kingdom richer than any land-born king could dream of. Together, we can rule both sea and land." For a fleeting moment, Obinna felt the pull of her promise, the vision of power and glory flickering before his eyes. But then he looked at Mmirinma, her trembling form, her tear-streaked face, and his heart steadied. He shook his head. "I will never give you the comb." Nneka's smile vanished, replaced by a cold fury. The waves behind her surged higher, black and violent. "Then you have chosen death, mortal." And with a snap of her fingers, the sea began to rise like a wall, ready to consume them all. The sea roared like a beast unleashed, towering waves clawing toward the shore. Obinna grabbed Mmirinma's hand, pulling her away from the rising water. Chike ran beside them, the lantern swinging wildly as the sand sank beneath their feet. Behind them, Nneka's laughter cut through the storm. "Run, little mortals. The sea always catches what it claims." They stumbled into the cover of the palm grove, gasping for breath. The comb pulsed in Obinna's hand, glowing faintly in the darkness. Chike's eyes fixed on it, wide with shock. "Give it here, Obinna. Quickly." Obinna clutched it to his chest. Never. It's the only thing keeping her with me. Chike shook his head violently. No, it's the only thing that can save her. Don't you see? That comb isn't just her soul. It holds her freedom. My grandfather told me a story. If a mortal keeps the comb long enough, the mermaid becomes fully human. She'll never return to the sea again. Mmirinma's eyes widened, her lips parting in disbelief. Is it true? She whispered, her voice breaking. Chike nodded. But the price is heavy. The one who holds it must bind himself to her forever. His life becomes hers, his fate sealed. If she dies, he dies too. Obinna's heart pounded. A lifetime with her, but at the cost of his freedom, his future, even his very soul. Yet the thought of losing her burned worse than death itself. From the distance, Nneka's furious cry echoed, the wind whipping the palms. You cannot keep her, Obinna. She belongs to the sea. Obinna looked at Mmirinma, then at the comb glowing in his hand. The decision was tearing him apart. And as the ground shook beneath their feet, the comb's glow suddenly flared, as though the sea itself had heard Chike's words and would not allow the choice to be made so easily. The glow of the comb lit their faces, casting Mmirinma in a halo of light. Obinna could see the fear in her eyes, but beneath it, a flicker of hope. The forest around them groaned with the wind, branches snapping as the storm raged closer. Obinna, she whispered, clutching his arm. You can't do this. If you bind yourself to me, you'll never be free. You'll live with danger at every step. The sea will never stop hunting us. Obinna cupped her face gently, his thumb brushing away a tear. Mmirinma, freedom means nothing without you. If this is the price, I'll pay it. Before she could respond, a chilling laugh split the night. Nneka appeared between the trees, her gown dripping with seawater, her eyes burning like coals. Touching, she sneered. But you forget, little brother of the land, that the binding is not yours to choose. Chike stepped forward, lantern raised like a shield. Stay back, witch. The comb belongs to him now. Nneka's smile widened. Oh, I don't want the comb anymore. I want him. Do you think the sea will allow a mortal to bind one of its daughters without consequence? No. Obinna. If you keep that comb, you'll live, but only as my prisoner. The ground trembled, roots tearing from the soil as if pulled by invisible hands. Mmirinma screamed as a wave of seawater burst through the grove, circling them like a cage. Obinna clutched the comb to his chest, his heart thundering. He looked from Mmirinma to Nneka, the weight of the decision crushing him. Mmirinma, he whispered, tell me the truth. Do you want to be human? Even if it means I die with you. Her lips trembled, her answer caught in her throat. And before she could speak, the comb blazed so brightly it forced all three of them to shield their eyes. The comb's blinding glow pulsed like a heartbeat, and when the light faded, the grove was silent. The storm had stilled, the air heavy with a strange calm. Obinna opened his eyes slowly, and saw the comb floating above his hands, suspended in midair, as though held by an invisible force. A voice rolled through the silence, deep and commanding, neither male nor female. It was the sea itself. Mortal Obinna, daughter Mmirinma. The comb has been claimed, but a binding cannot be sealed without blood. Mmirinma gasped, clutching Obinna's hand. No, no, it can't be. The voice continued, echoing through the trees. If she is to walk as human, a sacrifice must be made. A life for a life. One must die for the other to live. Obinna's heart clenched. Take me, he said without hesitation. His voice steady despite the terror clawing at his chest. Spare her and take me. Mmirinma's eyes widened, tears spilling down her cheeks. No, I will not let you die for me. She turned her gaze upward, her voice breaking. Please, there must be another way. But the voice only repeated, a life for a life. Nneka's laughter rang through the grove, cruel and mocking. Do you hear it, sister? Even the sea knows love is nothing but death in disguise. She stepped closer, her smile wicked. But perhaps we can make a new deal. Let me take his place, and I will walk as human, his soul for mine. He'll live, but with me, not you." Obinna staggered back, horror dawning. Mmirinma gripped his hand tighter. "Don't listen to her. If you give her the comb, you'll lose me forever." The comb spun faster, the glow intensifying as though demanding a choice. And in that moment, Obinna realized the sea wasn't going to wait much longer. The comb's glow grew blinding, the sea's voice thundering again. "Choose, mortal. The tide will not wait." Obinna's chest heaved, his eyes locked on Mmirinma's tear-streaked face. "I will not lose you," he whispered. He raised the comb high, ready to bind his fate to hers. But before he could bring it down, a hand shot out and snatched it from his grasp. Obinna spun around in shock, and his heart sank. It was Chike. "Forgive me, Obinna," Chike said, his voice shaking. "I can't let you do this. The whole village is already whispering you're cursed. If you bind yourself to her, you'll bring ruin to us all. This is the only way." Mmirinma cried out, lunging forward. "No, don't." But Chike had already turned toward the sea, holding the comb aloft. "Take it back. End this madness." The sea responded instantly. The ground split, water surging upward to claim the offering. Nekka's laughter pealed through the grove, victorious. "Ah, clever little mortal. You've doomed them both." Obinna's rage exploded. He tackled Chike, both of them crashing onto the wet sand, the comb slipping from Chike's grasp and landing between them. The glow dimmed, flickering wildly as though undecided. Mmirinma fell to her knees, her voice breaking. "Stop. Don't fight. The sea will punish us all." But it was too late. The comb flared violently, and a wave rose higher than the palm trees, ready to come crashing down. Obinna and Chike both reached for the comb at the same time. And in that instant, the wave froze midair, as if waiting to see whose hand would close around it first. The wave hung suspended, roaring but unmoving, as if the sea itself held its breath. Obinna's fingers brushed the comb just as Chike's hand clamped down over his. The glow pulsed violently, burning hot between them. "Let go!" Obinna shouted, straining to pull it free. Chike's face twisted with desperation. "I'm saving you, Obinna. Can't you see she's not human? She'll destroy you." "Better destroyed with her," Obinna snarled, forcing Chike back, "than living without her." The comb flared, sending a surge of energy through both men. Chike screamed, his grip faltering. In that instant, the comb leapt from their hands and flew straight into Mmirinma's grasp. She gasped as it burned against her skin, her body trembling as the glow enveloped her completely. Her voice rose, filled with both wonder and terror. It's choosing." Nekka's furious cry shattered the air. "No, that comb was mine to claim." She rushed forward, her hands reaching, but the light blasted her back into the surf. As the glow faded, Mmirinma fell to her knees on the sand. Her tail was gone. In its place were trembling, bare feet, sinking into the earth for the very first time. She looked up at Obinna, tears streaming down her face. I'm human." Obinna rushed to her, pulling her into his arms. For a heartbeat, the world was still. He felt her warmth, her heartbeat, the miracle of her breath against his cheek. But the sea's voice returned, cold and final. "The binding is sealed. A life for a life. The debt must be paid." Obinna's arms tightened around her, his heart hammering. No, not now." Mmirinma's face crumpled with dread as the comb dissolved into water in her hands. And before Obinna could react, his body went cold, his strength draining as though the sea was pulling him away drop by drop. Obinna's body grew heavy in Mmirinma's arms, his breath shallow, his skin cold as the night wind. She shook him desperately, tears falling onto his face. "No, you can't leave me now. Not when I've just become human." The sea's voice echoed one last time, stern and unyielding. "The price has been paid. The bond is sealed." Obinna's lips trembled as he forced out a whisper. I told you. I'd pay any price to be with you. His hand brushed her cheek, then fell limply against the sand. No, Mmirinma wailed, clutching him to her chest. Her tears fell onto the comb's last shimmering trace before it vanished into the earth. She could feel his spirit slipping, the sea tugging at what remained. Neka, watching from the edge of the surf, smiled coldly. A beautiful tragedy. He gave you everything, and still you lose. With a final mocking laugh, she melted into the waves, leaving the storm behind her. But as Mmirinma rocked Obinna's lifeless form, the sea stirred again. The tide rose, gently this time, curling around them like an embrace. Obinna's chest suddenly lifted, a faint breath returning to him. His eyes opened weakly, and he whispered, I'm still here, Mmirinma gasped, clutching his hand. How? I thought. The sea's voice answered, softer now. Because you chose love over power. The debt has been paid in spirit, not in blood. But know this, your lives are now bound. If one falls, the other falls forever. Obinna's eyes locked with hers, a weary smile on his lips. Then we'll live, and die, together. Mmirinma kissed him through her tears as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon. She was human now, but their love had been sealed in tragedy, shadowed by the sea's warning. And somewhere beneath the waves, Neka's laughter lingered, a promise that the sea never truly lets go.